Hi, this is Vicki with Crafting for Fun. Today I want to show you how I made this card using a technique that I am calling random stamping. What I did was I used 3 images from a stamp set that coordinated together and 3 colors of ink to stamp the background on this the front of this card, and then I took that stamped background and ran it through with an embossing folder through my Big Shot machine to give it some additional texture and detail. I don't know if you can see that on the video, but it gives a really cool effect, and it's very simple. And the cool thing about it is that there are no rules. You can choose any 3 colors of ink that you find pleasing to you, or any stamps that you find pleasing together, and create this really interesting background. And no 2 cards come out exactly the same because the technique is truly random. So let me show you which supplies you'll need and how I made this card. To complete this card, you'll need the following items. You will need a stamp set with at least 3 images, 3 random images that you like. I am going to use the Circle Circus stamp set by Stampin' Up, but you could also use 3 single stamps that you like that maybe you have in your stash that coordinate well. You'll need some type of a sentiment. I'm using the Thank You sentiment from the For You stamp set by Stampin' Up. You'll need 3 colors of ink that you like and that you think coordinate well. I am using Wild Wasabi, Pool Party, and Wisteria Wonder, all from Stampin' Up. And you'll need some kind of a border punch, and I'm using the Eyelet Border Punch from Stampin' Up. In addition, I like the way this card looks when you emboss it using an embossing folder in your Big Shot machine. I'm using a Cuttlebug folder called Seeing Spots. This is an older folder, but any folder that you have in your stash that you like will work as well. For cardstock pieces, you'll need the following. I have a base card, which is a piece of Pool Party that is 4 1/4 by 11. You can choose any color that you like that coordinates with the inks that you have chosen. You'll need a piece of the same color in 2 inches by 4 inches. And then I have some white pieces. I have 2 pieces that are each 4 by 5 1/4. One for the outside of the card, the front of the card, and one for the inside of the card as a liner. And then I have a 1 inch by 4 inch piece of white cardstock also that I'll be using to stamp my sentiment on. And that, in addition to that, you'll need scissors and adhesive. So let me get set up and I'll show you exactly how to do this. Okay, I have my ink pads set up, and with each ink pad I have one of the stamps, one of the image stamps, and it's very important after I've stamped with a stamp to put it back with the pad that I'm using it with so I don't cross-contaminate my inks. So this is the piece of cardstock that I'm going to be using for the front of my card. Let me just grab a piece of scrap paper here, and we'll use that to lay underneath. You can see I've used it for another project as well. So I'm going to lay that there, and I'm going to begin stamping. This is one of my larger images, and this is the Pool Party ink. I'm going to stamp off the edge, and I'm just going to kind of randomly stamp that wherever I like on the front of this card. I think maybe that's enough for right now. I'm going to take my other large image and kind of fill in. Now at some point these images will overlap, and that's okay. I'm kind of going for just a pleasing random pattern. And my third stamp. And I think that's probably enough. So there you see I have my stamping done for the front of my card. So I'm going to go ahead and remove my stamp pads. And before, I'm going to keep that one. That's my Wild Wasabi because I'm going to use that one for my sentiment. So I have my 1 inch by 4 inch wide piece of cardstock here, and my Wild Wasabi ink and my sentiment. I'm just going to eyeball that and hope that I can get it straight. There we go. And now I'm ready to put that ink away. So now I'm going to bring back that embossing folder. This is the Cuttlebug folder that I talked about, and I want to make sure that I have it so that the front of my card gets the embossed or the raised image, and that's generally with the manufacturer's name pointing up. And in this case, it's the word Cuttlebug. I'm going to remove this sentiment and get my Big Shot machine. Okay, and I'm going to use tab 1 on my Big Shot machine. Whoops. I'm going to lay my one clear acrylic plate down. I'm going to put my embossed image there, my second clear acrylic plate. I'm just going to run that all through. When I open this up, I hope that you can see the level of detail that embossing that gives it. So I'm going to remove my Big Shot machine and get the rest of the things I need to make this card set up, and I'll be right back. So now I'm back with all of the pieces that I need to complete my card. I'm going to go ahead and fold my card base in half, and I would use my bone folder to burnish that well. And I'm going to go ahead and want to apply my stamped layer to the front of my card. So I'm just going to, and because I've already embossed it, I hate to put adhesive on the back of that embossed layer because I have to apply a little pressure in order to do that. I don't want to flatten out my embossed image, so I just find it easier to apply it directly to my card. So I'm going to layer that on there so that I have an even amount of border, the top, bottom, and all of the sides, and I'm not really happy with that positioning. So let's try this again. I find this quite difficult to do with the camera. There we go. A little better. Okay, so now I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to take my 1 3/4 by 4 inch piece, and I'm going to use the border punch along the edge of that. So I'm going to just punch in the middle, then I'm going to move it over and line it up again, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. There we go. I'm going to remove all my scrap. And then I'm going to take that piece, and I'm going to take my stamped sentiment and layer that on the center. Now this is where you'll have to make a decision. Do you like the scallop detail at the top or at the bottom? And I prefer it at the bottom, so I'm going to just layer it that way. But again, that's a personal choice. And you don't have to use necessarily the same border punch that I used. If you have a border punch that you like, that you feel complements your image, use what you have in your stash. Now I'm going to go ahead and apply the sentiment to the front of my card. And again, where you put it on your card, whether you do it at the top, the bottom, and the center, is a matter of personal preference. I'm doing it about 2/3 of the way down. And there we go. The front of my card is complete. So I'm going to open my card up, and I'm going to apply adhesive to the top and bottom of my liner piece and just center that inside of the card. There we go. It's a quick and easy card with a homemade background that's called random stamping. I hope you enjoyed this card and today's technique. If you have any questions, please email me at craftingforfun@gmail.com or check out my blog craftingforfun.blogspot.com for additional craft ideas. Thank you.